Good morning, my awesomest friends, and welcome back to the shop. We've got a really super fun project today, and we've got a lot to do, so we better get going. Now, I know you're seeing half of what's going on here, but before we get started, please like and subscribe to my channel so that you can get all of this great content. Make sure you watch a couple of the videos. So it only takes a minute to go out there and hit that subscribe button, and don't think I don't appreciate it, because you would be thinking wrong. Now, what is our project for today? We've got a great project today. Remember, we made our tool holder to put in our toolbox like the bigger toolboxes have. The Husky doesn't come with that kind of stuff like the new Icon and all of the upper end toolboxes. Well, we have a tool holder now in ours, and our next thing that I wanted to add is a power drawer for our chargers so that we could get our chargers in there and off of the tabletop. So that is the project we're going to be working on today. I've got stuff laid out here, not the whole Dozer again. Yeah, we're gonna go after this guy just about one more time. We got a grommet here. We got our ever popular US General from Harbor Freight, so that we'll have power as well as USB charging in our new power drawer. This has got a really nice matte finish, so it isn't even going to need anything like that truck bed liner to try and get a texture on it or anything. It's just going to look great right out of the box. So we've got a lot to do. We got to move this toolbox out, get some drawers out of there. So much to do. But stick around, everybody. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, here is my drawer that I plan on making into a power charging drawer, and you can see it clears this battery from my Rockwell, and I already checked to make sure that it would clear my 3.0 Ryobi battery charger with a battery in it. If you get bigger ones, not too sure, but the other guys can do it, so can we. We're going to have to take these drawers out and move this toolbox out. We'll be right back. Okay, everybody, here's the back of my Husky toolbox, and I'm going to drill a hole something like this in the drawer to pass through the electrical cord and then out the back, and I'm just going to go around here with some edge trim on the hole that I open up so that the cable has room to move and won't bind up and interfere with the drawer or end up, working itself, fraying or breaking or whatever. But anyway, this is the hole here, and this is the kind of grommet that was in there, and it looks just about exactly like the one that Husky sent me. I don't know where to get these. If you know where to get these, let me know. But I definitely didn't want to screw up another hole here. So I measured this hole, and it's not quite 2 inches, but not quite 5/16 or 7/8 or anything like that. So I'm like, well, gosh, I don't want to mess it up. I brought my hole dozer around here, and it seems like it's kind of really close and everything, but like I said, don't want to screw this up. So here's what I did. I got an old mower deck here, and I don't want to screw up my toolbox, but I'll screw up an old junk mower deck here in a heartbeat. And I drilled a hole and put the grommet in here, and that looks just about like what we're going to want to get in here. So 2-inch hole for that grommet ought to do fine in the drawer. So now we're going to pull the drawer out, make a hole, and I hope we don't mess up. We got to make a couple holes. We got to make one in the drawer and one straight through that drawer so that the cable can move easy into the back of the toolbox. By the way, a little bit of heat applied to these grommets make them go in and out real easy. Don't forget your cutting oil. All right, here we go. So we got the bottom drawer out here. We got the drawer out that we're making into our charging drawer. And I took out a thin drawer above it that's the same size as this one here so that I could look at the space, kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. And I'll make up in here. Just let there be light. The tolerance is close, but it's going to work really good for giving us the ability to go ahead and drill right through using the hole that we create in the drawer to go through this back panel so that we can lead the cord out. So let's tape up the drawer. We'll put it back in. Well, we'll tape up the drawer and do that first. So stick around for that. We'll be right back. All right, well, we got the back of the drawer taped up. Okay, I'm going to come in from the back of the drawer. Now I'm going to put my power strip on this side of the drawer. That's what side most of them seem to be on anyway. And then my cord's going to come straight back and go out here and then out through the back and plug in. So I've taped this up on both sides so that, you know, I can save some of the look on the coating here anyway. But there's going to be a nice rubber grommet here. Now the things I kept in mind when I was picking a spot here and taping this up was mechanisms for locks, where there was, you know, folded over metal like right here, this lip here I want to stay clear of. Plus I want enough room for the outside of my rubber grommet to overlap as well and not have any interference from anything. Then I very meticulously, as you can tell, marked the center of that and gave it a tap. So what I did was I took the Arbor drill bit out of my hole saw and stuck it up here so I can get an idea of where we're going to be drilling at. Now I'll put it back in and we'll drill a hole. Be right back with that. Oh, last but not least, we put a block of wood here to kind of try and stop that wobble. Now, Joe Smith said the reason I might have had some trouble with this hole saw and the hole cutting was, you know, he said you pick a smaller hole saw because you're going to get some wobble there. So I'm hoping to cut some of that out because, as you saw with the test on that mower deck, this does cut the right size hole. All right, we're ready to drill this hole. There's going to be some noise here, so I'm not going to bother you guys with trivial things, but I am going to a little cutting oil on there before we get started. I'm going to put the cap on it so it doesn't create a horrendous stain. Looks pretty good. We'll be right back. All right, well, we got our nice hole there. Okay, so I've used a little bit of heat to limber this thing up a little bit. Let's see if we can get it to go in there now. Oh yeah, nice fit. Come on, push through there. There we go. That'll work, huh? Now, we're going to have to pull this back out of there, of course, because we've got to use this hole as a guide to do the one in our tool chest. We're going to pull that out of there, put the drawer back in, and then set you back up. We'll be back. There we go. This is a little bit more difficult than I thought it was because real tight quarters in there. So what I did was I used the hole that I already drilled while the drawer was in to kind of figure out where the tape was going to go. Then I stuck my hole saw back through the hole while the drawer was closed, and I put a little marking, you know, some ink from a permanent marker on the tip of the drill bit, then gave it a couple of taps. Now I got to take the drawer out again, and I'm going to see if that hopefully found me a center place. And I'm going to have to drill it while the drawer is out because there's just no room to get in there and work. Okay, so I pulled the drawer back out, and you can see there's a nice little mark in there, so putting a little bit of ink on the tip of the drill bit worked very well. So I'll just solidify that with a couple of more taps. As the awesome Mr. Justin Dow says, check out his channel, you got to adapt and overcome. So this is my first time doing it, and I'm sure you guys will run into your own problems. Just got to make sure you don't run into any of the locking hardware. You watch your tolerances. Just look at it 20 times and then do it once. And hopefully it'll come out correct. Now, once again on Justin's adapt and overcome. Got myself into a bit of a scrape here. And since I already had some masking tape in my hand, made myself a temporary adapt and overcome Justin Dow type band-aid. So we're going to go get that cleaned up. Then we're going to come out here and drill a hole. Well, let that be a warning to me. These edges in here are sharp, so you might want to be careful. Now, I can't back this thing up with anything, so we're just going to have to kind of plow through and hope for the best. Let the edge guard do the rest. Hope for the best. Let the edge guard do the rest. All right, we're going to make some noise here. There's not very much room in here for all of us, so. Blind people use their sense of touch. Noise. Beautiful. I guess you can watch. Look at that. That one turned out really nice. Now, just put some of that trim on it that you guys probably remember, that Cowles trim. Let's move around back so we can watch that. By the way, a little tip here. Using some tape here to pick up most of this anyway. You don't want to get these shavings under your finger. All right, well, got everything done on the floor here on the outside of the back. The tool chest, we got our trim that we're going to put on here. You guys remember this Cowles stuff from the trim that I put on the power tool holder. I'm going to file. A little bit of heat. We know this trim works good with heat and something to cut it with. Let's clean up the edges a little bit though, huh? Here, we'll be right back and work on that trim. Okay, the old guy got down on the floor here now. Now, we're just going to heat this up. Okay, now that I've cleaned up this edge piece, I use that heat gun to make this plastic, rubber, whatever it is, trim here a little bit more pliable. And I'm just going to slip a couple of fingers in here, pretty much like I have done other times during the past. And trying to work around here swiftly while spreading this trim with my thumbs or fingers as I work it around. There we go. And that, whew, that light's finally going to run out of a little bit of juice, but that ought to protect our cord that's going to run through there very nicely. Don't you think? Let me heat that up and set it down one more time. Then we'll go and see if we can get our cord run through it and put everything back together so we can have a look at it. So there we go. Switch here. And we seem to have it made. So now, like the bigger boxes, we have organization for our power tools, and we have a charging drawer with power for our batteries. What do you guys think? Leave your thoughts. I want to send a quick shout out to one of my viewers that had an idea. He said, you know, instead of the trim, buying that trim, you could just use vacuum line. He's right. You know, you could slit some vacuum line and put it on there the same way that trim goes on. Put a little super glue on there. That's a great idea. Just the kind of thing I was hoping you guys would do, and think of better ideas even. You know, let this inspire you. So if you like the content, please like, subscribe, and share. It's kind of strange. Hadn't had a subscriber in a couple of days, so I don't know if I'm slacking or if everybody's busy. And I hope you're busy. I hope that you're spending time with your family and spending time doing the things you love, because that's a good reason to not have new subscribers. Having a poor channel probably isn't, though. So please let me know that my content is getting somewhere. And like, subscribe, and please share my videos. And invite your friends over. If you guys are coming up on a weekend, even if it's a cold, wet, and rainy one, make it a great one, everybody. We'll see you next time. Until then, take care.